says what they're thinking or whatever, and like puts a narration to the video.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I cannot get enough. Even if I've seen it before, I still watch it all the way through. Like it's that stuff is so hilarious to me.
I also love it. I mean, all things animals, I'm pretty into.
Especially if you can anthropomorphize animals into a crazy situation that I can identify with in the human world. Like it's so much. I
mean, that's why I liked Flo so much about the kitty. Did you guys watch Flo?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, watch it. Watch it. It's so good. It's not just about cats. It's about lots of animals, but just this like adorable animated movie about a cat trying to make his way in the world. It's so cute.
Wow.
And looks like my cat. So
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does Ralphie think about the movie?
Ralphie was like, when I was watching it, he was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I don't think it's real.
He wasn't like, this is autobiographical from before you adopted me.
No, he's gotten very comfortable. He's like, Mom, not real. Yeah, Hollywood, not into it. How is Seven doing, Eileen?
He's good. We have yet to hear about his adventure walk today, but he he pretty much goes to daycare every day. Monday, Wednesday, he goes wild, and he has just a free time with his friends, and they run and go crazy for like a half a day. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, he goes on these adventure walks, and they're very structured. They're, with a pack of other dogs. And
so like designed to, like get you
train and focus.
Like a pack dog.
But like we noticed, when he goes to daycare on Monday, Wednesday, when it's just free roam, he is just crazy. We're here. Oh my God. Yeah. When he gets picked up for Tuesday, Thursday structured walk, he like today, like oh yeah. All right. I'm ready to go. It's almost like I have to go to work. Today is work. Monday, Wednesday is like party. But Tuesday, Thursday, oh yeah, they make me do commands and sit for long times. Like it's like work for him. So he's like actually like I feel like he walked out today like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I know this is a different mindset. Just left. I was like, bye.
Gets ready to leave. He's like, briefcase. Yep. Lunch.
Yep. That's
thermos.
exactly.
Yep,
got it. Yep. I'm going to work.
Today is not
it's
party.
Funny. Otis is, technically a working dog. Even though he's part
Apparently
boxer
unemployed.
and part Great Pyr, but both are in that working dog territory. And I mean, he's kind of a baby because of me, but like he wants a job. He really does.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, if I have a job, I know what to do, and I'm doing that job.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he's just sort of like all over me, like, where I'm like, Otis, come on, what the fuck? So honestly, like working dogs really do want that, like, I want structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that helps them.
They need the boundaries. It helps them like decide, oh, okay. Otherwise he's just like, yeah, let's go crazy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like freak out.
Yeah. And do zoomies for 50. Like sometimes he does just need that, like let's just burn it. Burn
the
it.
Zoomies are cute.
Yeah.
They're very cute.
Yeah.
For example, it rained really hard in LA last night. Eileen, probably in your neighborhood too. Mm-hmm. And so this morning Otis was like, I am ready to go out. And I was like, okay, I think we have a respite in the rain. Let's do it.
Let's go.
And so like it wasn't raining, but still kind of wet outside in general.
Yeah.
And when he got back inside, he was like, I'm gonna tear up this living room. I'm just like, all right, do it. Just
gotta get it out.
Just tear it up. Yeah.
And then he did, and then he was calm.
Thank
right?
you.
Then
And
he
I'll
was like,
put it back together. Yeah. And then afterwards he was like, I'm gonna sleep for 6 hours.
Exactly. Actually, our the daycare where he goes crazy, they've figured out like he just needs 15 minutes to just go balls to the wall, like run crazy, and then after that, for the next like 3.5 hours, he's just like, yeah,
He's chilling.
let's play. He's chilling.
Yeah.
He's playing, but he's not like, you know, he just
Totally.
he doesn't know
Yeah.
how to handle those like crazy emotions yet. So he just has to burn them.
We one more dog story and then I'm done.
Yes.
On our morning walk this morning, because again I was like, oh, is it gonna rain again? Like like there was no way I was taking him out, at midnight last night, in the downpour. But we met a little a dachshund, and as we came towards them, as they always do with little dogs, I'm like, we're friendly.
Yeah.
If you want to say hi, we're friendly. And they were like, okay, all right,
Okay.
let's be friendly. And the two of them did quite the dance, quite the zoomy dance.
Oh.
Otis was like, yeah, cool. You're such a little
pals.
dog. And the little dog,
so big.
dog was like, I like you also.
That's so cute.
So cute.
That's so cute when they're just like, I see you. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, we're good. We are
Let's do it.
good. Yeah, so
That's
cute.
so awesome. So awesome.
Well,
right.
what also is awesome is us doing the shoe. So,
Yes.
what do you say?
Let's do it, everybody.
Let's
Go.
do it.
Fine, I'll stop reading about this Metallica video I'll never get to watch.
You can
Talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, let's. I have solutions for you. We do.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not going to be as good as having an AVP, but whatever. We should save it for the show.
Oh, goodness gracious. What a day this has been. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It
Yes.
is. Yes. All right. Well, Amos has made himself invisible, so I will count myself in. What do you say? In 3, 2. It is Apple Vision Show episode 52. Eileen Rivera, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. It's going to be spring soon. I'm already stocking up on allergy medicine before that. But yeah, no, things are well. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. My mom is coming into town for
exciting.
a weekend visit tomorrow. So,
Nice.
It's a combination of like so excited and also like, oh my God, I have to clean the house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even though she doesn't care. But,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Yeah. You want to make it comfortable for your guest, off the bat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that going on. And in LA, where Eileen and I both live, we've had some rain. It's been kind of it's well, I think we're technically in spring, but it feels like winter finally.
It does. Yeah. For LA. I mean, people who actually have winter will be like, you guys, you are not shoveling snow. And we know that. But this is our version, and we don't know any better in California unless you live in the mountains like Tahoe or, Mammoth, Big Bear. But
so true.
yeah, it's a little chilly. I mean, I am wearing my Uggs. I like wearing my Ugg boots and, my sweaters.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean,
you gotta
my
wear it now.
galoshes are, clutch.
You got to wear it now.
for
You've
this
got these
time.
like 2 weeks out of the year, it's like, this is the time to wear it. And then you put them away for the remaining 11 months, so that's California living for you.
Well, we are here to talk about all things Apple, as we always do. So let's start with Metallica. Eileen.
Let's start. Yes, we were in the pre-show. Our producer Amos was like, "Wait, I wanted to read about this Metallica thing. This is one of his favorite groups, right? Or his favorite group of all time." And then he said something like, "And I will never be able to watch this movie because it's being built for Apple Vision Pro." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, you can." like go to the Apple store and do the like test run and watch it when the movie drops, right? I mean, I don't know if they'll let you watch the whole thing, right? Like I don't know if it's like an hour, it's a full concert, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So what was cool is that South by Southwest is going on right now, and it's the music part of South by Southwest, the conference. And so Metallica announced through an interview with Apple Music that there is a concert movie of theirs that's going to the Apple Vision Pro, and you can watch it tomorrow, Sarah. You could watch it tomorrow.
You know what? I would do this as a Metallica fan myself. Yeah. I'm very much into this. I also I like the fact that, we're talking about Metallica putting a movie on the Apple Vision Pro, where Metallica has historically been a little bit like, we're not sure. We're not sure.
True.
About technology, MP3s. There's a whole conversation about that going on. But yeah, I'm totally into it. I would like more artists to do this, because that would be fun for me.
Yeah. In fact, I'm looking at the Apple official press release from their newsroom, and it says customers can book an Apple Vision Pro demo at their local Apple store to experience the magic of spatial computing and enjoy an extended preview. Okay, you can't watch the whole thing, but you'll get a taste of it if you don't own the Apple Vision Pro, because there was a lot of, I guess, in the audience is like, oh, I guess my ticket's $3,500, to go watch this concert, which is supposed to be amazing. You're supposed to be immersed and and I think there's like a vantage point where you are the singer too.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is awesome. At the same time, I wonder, I mean, clearly Metallica and Apple were like, all right, let's do something that's, cool and immersive and new type thing.
Right.
How many people are really going to go to an Apple store and be like, I have to watch the Metallica show? No. Like, you want to do it in your living room. You want to just like rock out by yourself.
I know. Well, the promise of the Apple Vision Pro app, once that, I'm just trying to see, is it available yet? Apple Vision Pro. You should be able to watch some of the content on that app. It's not the same experience that it was intended for, but so I just tried to download the Apple Vision Pro app on my phone, and you have to have 18.4. So when 18.4 drops, you can watch, some of the content on the phone. I'm just trying to give you guys options out there. If you don't have a $3,500 device, which most of us, the majority of us, do not have.
Right.
So
Eileen and I, we share an Apple Vision Pro, and even then, like, half the time we're like, what do we do with it?
What do you do? What do you do with this thing? I guess, Sarah's going to be watching Metallica tomorrow night when it drops on March 14th. Let me tell you.
I mean, that does sound fun to me. I love Metallica. Oakland born, but yes, that is going to be an interesting part of, the VR experience, even if we're not talking about the Apple Vision Pro specifically, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what do we want to do? You have asked me a million times, like, what are you doing, on the AVP? And I'm like, watching stuff, because I will tell you that, laying back and just having that and watching something just feels so nice sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, is that really all it's for? Just to watch movies and TV shows? I mean, if that were the case, maybe that's fine. But for that price, no. We have to like figure out something else.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, I think we're still in that limbo mode of like, what is it? What do we do?
Some people are trying to maximize their use of it, using it for work purposes. But other people can't find their, but there's other people who have it that can't, it doesn't work for them in that way. So, Well, I at some point when the device gets cheaper and smaller, maybe it'll be all figured out. But in the meantime, there's Metallica, and I guess there's some other immersive videos that are going to be coming out soon, like deep water, like diving, like sea cliff dives,
cool.
and like surfing, Arctic surfing, and stuff like that.
Into it.
And then it looks like Bono's of U2 is going to have an original film on there as well. So there's other stuff that's kind of coming slowly but surely. But is it enough for somebody to, pay $3,500? No. Likely, once 18.4 will come out, you'll all watch it on your phone with that Apple Vision Pro app. Well, so at least we can see it.
Speaking of things that you might listen to, Eileen.
Yes.
So Apple Music Classical has expanded to the web after expanding to CarPlay just a few months ago. And I know before the show you were like, like what, classical? Like that's a thing? Oh, yes. Yes, it is. I had no idea.
I just downloaded the classical app today. I was like, wait, what? I mean, because for me, I was like, wait, is there no classical on the regular app? And there is, but the classical app it's so much more robust for classical music lovers that I had no idea it existed, Sarah. Apologies to all of you classical music lovers.
I mean, I don't think I would have known either, unless I followed the stuff pretty closely.
Right.
But I mean, and for anyone who's like, classical music, not for me. It's like, well, if it isn't for you, it isn't. Yeah. But,
right.
This actually ties into my Meta Quest experience where I play Supernatural. Where when I say play, I'm exercising to a variety of songs. They have a classical area where, like, at first I was like, I don't know. I mean, what am I, 95 years old? And then I did it once and I was like, this is actually really great. We all know these songs. Even if we don't think we do, we all know these are great songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're not just like, there's some really good upbeat tempo classical music that paired with whatever activity you're doing, gets you going, gets you moving. It's not just all slow, melodical, dramatic. There's some
there's some of that.
Yeah.
But like, there's also like Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh.
Shows you how much we know. True story. I interned at a classical music station back when I was in college. So I got a little bit. I did. Wow. I got a little knowledge at the time. I was just at the time they had tapes, and so I would help, the program director, just whatever, all busy work that an intern would have to do. But I was exposed to a lot of good classical music back in the day. And so I do have an appreciation for it, but I obviously did not continue because I did not know anything about this app. But I do now, and I'm very happy that I do now.
Well, now for those of us on the web, you got it. You got it too. If you are an Apple Music subscriber. Pretty cool. I'm into it. I am into it. All right. So, Eileen, I wanted to tell you some very bad news.
Yeah. What's that?
The global smartwatch shipments, the shipments globally in 2024 declined for the first time.
Why do you think that? Do you think people just have other ways to, I don't know. Do people not want to tell time anymore?
I don't
know. They use their phone. They use their phone.
I don't know. I mean, all kidding aside, I feel like, you're rocking a new Apple Watch. I've got the Series 7 that I wear all day, every day. I think that when you have a watch and you're wearing it, then you're just not, buying the next watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Not unlike the way that we talk about iPhones or, iPads or, it's like, it's such a good product that you don't need to you know, get the next one every cycle. But Apple is definitely still ahead in the smartwatch category with Apple Watches. But there are other competitors coming on the scene.
Yeah.
And they have been for some time. But yeah, so the details, global smartwatch shipments fell 7% year over year in 2024. So not huge, but definitely not gaining. That was the market's first ever decline. This is according to Counterpoint's latest global smartwatch shipments tracker by model Q4 2024. Downturn attributed primarily to a decline in Apple shipments, as that segment saw lower upgrades amid a slowdown rather, and then weakness in the basic smartwatch market, originating in India. Apparently, consumer demand was waning due to a slow replacement cycle, lack of innovation, unsatisfactory user experiences among first-time buyers. So this is obviously, you know, Apple's still the winner as far as smartwatches go. But that idea of, like, you know, people being like, I don't really know, like, what is this for? Which is a great conversation, because I have a lot of friends in my life who are like, Sarah, you really never take off your Apple Watch? And I'm like, no, never. Why would I? And they're like, I don't know. I mean, do you not want to take it off? And I'm like, well, I take it off when I shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but otherwise, no. I love the data.
Yeah.
And we're all kind of different in that way.
The only time I take it off too is when, it's time to charge, and then I forget. And I just leave it on my charger because I work from home. And so, like, you know, if I see, it needs to charge, so I'll let it charge, you know, while I'm working. And then I kind of forget. So 6 hours later, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll I'll put it on. But yeah, it's on most of the time for me. I do have a ton of notifications. And so I need to, like I've said before, I need to do something about that because it is draining my battery a bit. But I'm also like the people, you know, I was one of those consumers who waited for a very, 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 very long time to upgrade because my watch
you went
was
from
fine.
the 3 to the 10, right?
That's such a gap, right? Such a gap. And so I also just didn't feel like I needed to change it up until that last year. Then it was like, wait, the battery life on this thing is, I don't even want to use it anymore. You know, it's why do I have it if it won't stay on my wrist for half a day? So I don't know. Yeah, I think to your point, there's just a lot of competition, and there will continue to be competition. So, but you know, if money's tight, you're going to use a regular watch or not one at all. Or, you know, a lot of people just resort to just having their phone because everything that you really need could be on your phone. And most people need a phone versus if you were to choose, right, would choose a phone over a watch.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, you know, my phone is the way that I check the weather. You can do it on the watch, but I'm like, I don't know, I can't see anything. You know, let's look at it on my phone. I also, it's funny. There are times where, you know, I'll be hanging out with a friend, whatever, you know, and they're wearing a watch that is not a smartwatch, just a watch. And I'm like, wow, how do you like do anything? And they're like, I have a smartphone and that's what I have. Like, you don't actually need a smartwatch. Well, if you want to track a variety of things in your life, which I do, a lot of that is, you know, like, you know, I want to clear my rings every day. You know, it would be hard for me to do that otherwise. Meaning, when I say that, meaning I want to exercise, you know, I want to walk a certain amount of miles. I want to, go up a certain amount of stairs type thing.
Yeah.
And I don't always get there, but the watch is a great motivator for me to be like, okay, you're getting close,
Yeah.
let's walk some more stairs type thing. And then when I clear my rings, I feel like really great about myself because I basically went to the gym.
Well, you did enough activity, right, to have done that. Yeah,
Exactly.
And that, yes, you should feel good about that. Well, we'll see. It looks like in our chat room there's some people who have never had, a expensive watch or smart or otherwise, but curious if you own one and why you use it.
Totally.
Send us your information, feedback at applevisionshow.com.
There was on Threads, I believe there was, I don't remember who it was, but somebody who was like, real talk, who wears an Apple Watch overnight? And and she got like all these responses of people being like, it's so easy, because her whole thing was, if you do that, then it's going to just be out of batteries. Like, how do you do, So I was like, I will tap into this conversation. I'm like, you just go to sleep. You wear it. And then when you get up first thing in the morning, you charge it before you do anything.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're taking a shower, maybe you're making coffee. Maybe you're just like, I don't know, trying to wake up in general. It's like, it doesn't take long to just get back to like 100% power. I'm like, it is so easy to wear your Apple Watch overnight. I know some people are like, I don't like the feeling of it. And that, that's very fair. I don't really care though. I want my sleep data.
And you have it.
And I have it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Eileen, we got a bunch of news from Apple last week. We got new MacBook Airs, we got new Mac Studios, and what's the other thing I'm forgetting?
The iPads.
Well, the iPads, yeah, that was a couple of days earlier, but yeah. So the MacBook Air M4 13-inch is the current version of the M1 MacBook Air that I have. Same size.
Yeah.
I want it so bad, but I don't need it. I don't. My M1 is just cooking along. Love it. I don't need it. But I thought that it was kind of fun to read some of the folks that were doing reviews of the MacBook Airs. Devendra Hardwar, who's over at Engadget, he's great. He really he spoke to me in his review of this, saying like, this is a great machine. The only thing really that you might not like about this is, first of all, if you're a Windows person, then you're not going to like a Mac. But otherwise, on the left-hand side of the Mac, when you have it open, and looking at it, you only have two USB-C ports and a MagSafe port on the left-hand side.
Okay.
And, it would just be really nice to have something on the right-hand side. This is a very nitpicky comment. However, I agree with him. I do. Even though I my life is not going to end because my USB-C port is only on the left-hand side and not the right. But I will say, in the morning, speaking of routines, I wake up, I make my coffee, I go to the sunroom. I plug in the MacBook Air if it, I don't know, needs some charging, and I have to plug it in like around the side just because of the way that my little table there is.
Okay.
Again, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
But it would be so great
Yeah.
if I just had a plug on the right-hand side.
Right.
Because then I wouldn't have, it going across the whole table type thing. These are first world problems for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the review. I am looking forward to getting an M4 eventually. But also I'm like, I want to, I mean, that would happen when my M1 starts to wheeze, and it cooks.
Wow.
It has always cooked.
Yeah, you've been singing its praises for weeks now, and you know, like no doubt, if you do get this device, though, how many more years, extended that this one could last, So, it sounds like it's a glowing review in this article here, and I mean, I think if you can just deal with extension ports or something like that only on the left side, then that might be okay for you. But as a machine itself, it really does feel like this is a top contender for something that you should get if you need to upgrade. Or if you just want one.
I think a lot of folks out there sort of go like, well, Apple, whatever, that's not really me, because it's, priced too high.
Yeah.
And you could argue, certainly, that, at $999 to start for the M4 MacBook Air, that's still more money than you would want to spend, and you have other options. You do. You definitely do. But it's a great machine. It's a great machine. And this is me, using an M1 where I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe there were like a couple times I got a beach ball, but like over the last 4.5 years, like maybe that happened twice. I mean, this is a good machine. So I would encourage anybody who's on the fence to, even look at the M3, or the M2 for that matter. If price is a concern, just to kind of get a machine that's gonna do you well for quite some time.
Yeah. I agree. Totally agree.
Well, before we come back and talk about some rumors in the world of Apple, let's take a break. All right, Eileen, let's talk about iOS 19, or what we think is going to be part of that update.
Well, I just keep seeing, as I was like looking for news for this week, all I saw, the dominant, headline was that Apple is going to do a dramatic software overhaul. Like, this is going to be the one overhaul to rule the overhauls of the past. It's going to be something so shockingly different. It sounds like that's where I'm going with this when I see these headlines. Dramatic overhaul. And I presume that we're going to see this during WWDC this year. But it sounds like things could change in terms of the look on your device, and it would be more somewhat streamlined with potentially the Apple Vision Pro look. But I don't doubt that that's going to happen, but it just sounds like there's going to be stylistic updates to like seeing new icons and menus and apps and system. But I'm like, whoa, okay, you mean everything's going to be different? I think I might be ready for something like that. But I'm sure they'll give you the option to keep it the same if you don't like it. You know what I mean? Maybe there'll be like a OG mode and then the new mode or something like that.
Totally. Yeah. it's like on Chrome. It's like, do you want dark mode, or do you want it to like just look like the way that you like it? I'm like, I want the old way. But I'm into it. I'm
okay,
ready
good,
for a shakeup. And it's not that I don't like iOS. To be fair, and I've talked about this on the show ad nauseum, I really honestly am mostly on either my desktop, which I am on now, running Mac OS, or my MacBook Air. And if I'm away from the house, I don't know, I'm at the grocery store type thing, then obviously I'm using my iPhone. But otherwise, I don't really use my mobile device all that much. And people tell me I'm crazy. They're like, you just like don't use your iPhone? And I'm like, well, not if I'm at home and I have a larger screen. Why would I? It's just,
Yeah,
I
exactly,
don't get
yeah.
it. But other people are like, no, I like that form factor type thing. It's like, you wake up in the morning and, you roll over, you look at your phone to figure out what's going on with the news. Like, I get that. I get it. No judgment from me. But yeah, I'm kind of like, all right, let's see what you got, iOS 19.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll kind of like pull me back into it.
Well, it sounds like the Mac OS will also be included in this new redesign. So it would be
Yeah.
Mac OS 16. So it'd be
16.
everyone, everybody, the iPad, like it will all be different. So I think it's good now to prep everybody. Let's prep you all right now that you're not surprised in June when this like new design comes out, which probably won't be available to September anyway. So like we're gonna, we're probably not gonna, see significant changes unless you're in the beta program until the next phone, right? So get it in your head now. Things are changing. The only constant is change, and that includes now iOS and designs. So maybe it'll be cleaner. Maybe it'll be, what it sounds like based on this Mac Rumors article, it sounds like it'll be based off the Apple Vision Pro interface, which, is
Well,
very
and that's
elegant,
an interesting part of this, right? Is like, okay, well, for anyone who's like, well, I don't have an Apple Vision Pro, so what does it matter to me? Well, it probably doesn't. But if you have, if you have a Pro, and then, you're obviously in the, Apple ecosystem, whether it be Mac OS, iOS, or a combination of all three, that would make a lot of sense, because I think that going back to, people being like, what is the Apple Vision Pro for exactly? It's like, it's a developer machine. That's what it is. It always was that. And, the people who, sprung for this for a pretty penny were like, what's going on here? This is the first part of a new ecosystem that Apple is trying to build.
Yeah.
So, as much as your experience on iOS, Mac OS, or Vision OS being cohesive,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
Right.
Whether or not people are going to buy it, that's a different conversation, but that's what Apple wants. And that's what Apple wanted with, Mac OS and iOS and iPad OS never really got there, but many years ago, Apple was like, you know what? We want to, harmonize all of these OSs.
Yeah.
We want them to act like each other, to the point where you buy an iPad today, you get an external keyboard, and is it really all that different from a MacBook?
Right.
It is,
It
form
is,
factor
yeah.
wise, but Apple wants it to be, sort of like pick up and play type thing.
Right. Right. And for those of you who may not have experienced the Apple Vision Pro, the description here, the Apple Vision Pro has more of like a translucent design, and it feels like, it fades into the background a little bit more, and the content is more up front and center. Just imagine more translucent boxes versus, what you see today. And so, another part of it claims to potentially give you more screen space, better photo previews and things like that, because it's gonna the borders, I guess, will just fade, and so you'll just, like, your pictures, your text will come up more prominent, if that is if that is actually achieved, we'll see. But I don't know what you think, Sarah, when you look at your Apple Vision Pro, if you feel like the content is more upfront versus the, when you're looking at your texting or, some of the more system oriented Windows kind of thing.
I mean, when you have it set up correctly, when you have it set up the way that you want to have it set up, I think that the Pro is awesome. I really do. That said, I primarily use it to, just be like, let me lay on my back and watch a movie because it's so fun to do that. It's like, I mean, who's going to put a TV on their ceiling, right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's like, it's just like so comfy.
Yeah.
But I know it's supposed to be about more than that. I don't know. I really do, going back to the initial concerns that people had about the Vision Pro of like, it's kind of heavy, kind of hurts my face, that sort of thing. Well, if you're sitting on your back watching Point Break, not going to be a problem. But when you're actually using it for work, definitely an issue. And I don't know. If something in the Vision OS becomes a little bit more consumer friendly, because I think that it's trying to be consumer friendly, but you have all these consumers being like, what's it for? Like, why do I need this? Like I already have a desktop. So, okay. So if I were to, it's over in the corner of my office right now, but if I were to put this on right now and basically like, airdrop what I'm seeing to my big monitor, I could do that. And then sort of like use the Vision Pro to be sort of like the first part of, of what I'm eventually doing in my office, which I think is, again, I've always said this, really, really great idea for somebody who doesn't have a lot of space. It's like, if you don't have a lot of space, you don't have, some, extra bedroom for your office or, whatever it is. It's like you put this on, it does feel like it's immersively an office. It feels very large, but yeah, you have to deal with the stuff that comes with it, and not everybody is going to lay on their back all day and be like, it doesn't hurt my face. A lot of people are like, no, I actually want to sit upright, and it does hurt my face after an hour or two.
Yeah. I mean, eventually it'll get lighter, but
it will.
There's some trade-offs there. So anyway, get ready for change, people. It is coming to your phone by the end of the year, I believe, is my guess. That's my guess for all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Apple historically does a September, refresh for the iPhone line. But if iOS 19 was iPhone, iPad, and Vision Pro, that would be interesting. I also think Apple is, they're doing things differently than they used to. I mean, for a couple of years now, we're like, this is how Apple always does things.
Yeah.
And then Apple's like, nah, we're just going to like, just like send out a press release about this thing that normally would have been like a big event. Yeah. That a lot of people would have gone to. And maybe that's just because we just have more products.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's just too many. Yeah, and too many versions of the products too, right? So how often are you going to try and get everybody together? How often are you going to try and get some musical guest, to be part of your event and things like that? It's just, it's not the thing anymore. So So yeah.
I mean, it's not the thing in the same way that like lining up outside of an Apple store to get the new iPhone. Like that was, listen, I never did it and you might not have either, but a lot of people were like, this is fun. You know, like not only do I want the gadget, but like I want to like be part of this fun, you know, community.
Yeah.
And, you know, just other people who are just like pumped about stuff.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that anymore. We are, I suppose, for a few products, but like in general, not really.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, I
really.
think COVID kind of like took the wind out of it. Like just deliver it. It's fine. I'll wait for it to come. You know, hopefully it doesn't like at one year, my phone just did not make it. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like it presumably delivered. I'm like, I don't have it. This is not here. I don't know what you're talking about. My phone's not here. And so I had to fight with UPS. It was just like numerous till finally they canceled the order. And then I was able to go to the Apple store and pick it up. Like, I don't know, several days later, but I had to go through this, like, where is my phone? It's supposed to be on the truck. It's supposed to be, it's not at my house, you know, whatever happened.
Which when you're like so excited about something, you're just like so mad.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Well, not only that, I got up early to do the pre-order, you know, several weeks earlier. Why did I get up early if I was going to get the phone? On the designated day. So, but to that said, that only happened once. And since then I have had my new phones delivered and it's been fine. It's been on time. Sometimes earlier than I even, like, oh, it didn't make it till 5. It got here at 2. It didn't make it at 5 p.m. It got here earlier. Great. Let me start, syncing that thing. But
Apple's great at that. Remember my saga with my new Mac Mini from last November, where I was like, all right, I'm going to be out of town, but it's not going to be delivered until I get back. All is well. And then Apple was like, great news. It's going to be like 4 days earlier. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to steal this off my front porch. To this day, I still, Mac Mini, I love you so much. I still think about like how stressful that was for no reason.
For no reason. Like,
no, it's like, just don't give it to me early.
Yeah.
I know you think that I'm going to be happy about it, but not in that case.
Yeah. Oh, well. But anyway.
Oh, well. Yeah, I know. So, Eileen, I know you've been following Severance, as I have.
Yes.
And, oh boy. Last week's episode.
Okay, did you like it? Or did you feel like it was a diversion necessary? Trying not to give any spoilers.
Yeah, it's sort of hard to talk about this without spoilers, but I'll do my best. So one of the main characters of the show kind of wasn't around in the last few episodes. And then the most recent episode was sort of the focus of the episode. And you learn a lot and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. But yeah, it was sort of a meandering, like I want to see Ms. Wong.
Yeah. I felt like, did we need all of that 30? Like, remember, we talked about it. Oh my gosh, it's only 38 minutes this week. But like, did it need to take up the whole episode? Like, I missed the gang. You know what I mean? And
I missed the gang.
I felt like maybe
that's what I felt too.
Maybe we only needed 15, like half the episode of this, and then go back. But I don't know.
But again, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of dancing around this because I know not everybody has watched the show, but it did feel like, at the end of the not hour, but better part of an hour, I was like, oh, okay. Because I always thought she was weird.
It gives you more context.
Now I get it a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. So it fleshes out this particular character. But yeah, you know what? Their finale is next week, Sarah. So we get an episode on Friday and then the finale next week. And then it's sort of like Apple TV Plus is like, people are like, okay, what's next? And they've always been focusing on quality versus quantity. So essentially nothing has changed in terms of how many shows, but there are going to be several new shows that are going to be popping up over the next several months, and we don't have trailers for all of them. But are you interested in any of these new shows? I mean, what are you going to do after Severance? Like after it's done, like, do you envision yourself, turning on Apple TV for another great show? Or is that like some people are like, in Netflix, this was my show and that's it. But then, they started,
no.
diversifying.
I mean, there are nights where I'm just like, I'm just gonna watch Real Housewives. I don't care. but there are other nights where I'm like, yeah, no, I want to see like the new cool show. Yeah. Because I have a lot of friends who, yourself included, who watch these shows, and it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And I mean, I my whole thing is like, if I try to watch something after 9 p.m., anybody's guess. Half the time, like White Lotus, which is Netflix, no, HBO, Max now. Gosh, hard to keep them all track, keep everything in track. But
yeah,
I mean, the the last episode, I watched it with a friend, and he was like, Sarah, you like fell asleep in the first 5 minutes. And I was like, did I? All right, I'll watch it again. And then I did, and I was like, oh yeah, I did not see any of this. But this is very good intel for me for the next episode type thing.
Yeah.
It's I think I don't know, anybody who's listening to the show and is like, here's how I also consume content, we would love to know. Feedback at applevisionshow.com, because for me it's like, I'm working during the day. I mean, I can't watch something in the morning. There's just no time. I mean, I suppose I could, but that would be crazy. But when, for example, when we wrap up on the show today, it's like, well, I have to take my dog out, and then, I have to come back and like clean out the kitchen and, just, this and that. And then by the time I finally sit down, it might be 9 p.m. And at that point, I'm like,
yeah. I mean, it's going to take word of mouth. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I think about, okay, Apple TV Plus shows, right? Severance, Ted. There's some like notables that you will always go to. But at the same time, it's like, how do you think they could keep your interest? Because for me, it's word of mouth. So if I'm going to jump over to a different network because that's the hot show, I'm going there, So yeah, there's like this show called Dope Thief that's going to be out tomorrow with Brian Tyree Henry, and it's like a crime drama. Then there's the studio with Seth Rogen at the end of the month, which is about Hollywood.
Got John Hamm.
John Hamm is coming. And then Alexander
I'll watch
Skarsgård
anything he's in.
Okay, well then Your Friends and Neighbors is basically your show. So basically, did you watch the trailer for that yet? Essentially, John Hamm so for those of you who haven't seen it, he's a divorcee and he loses his job. But now he's trying to figure out, like, how does he keep afloat? Well, he lives in he has a circle of friends that are rather affluent, and I think he just starts to steal stuff in order to, make some money. And anyway, I'm sure there's other dramatic stuff that happens in between the relationships here and there with his ex-wife and the neighbors. But that looks interesting, and that's in April. And then in May we get Sci-Fi with Alexander Skarsgård. I believe Murderbot is a beloved book of a somewhat different name, but that one, there's no trailer for that. There's just photos. And then in June, that's kind of the last thing that we hear from Apple TV until the fall. There is a golf comedy with Owen Wilson, and that's got to be super funny because I don't really like golf. Otherwise, I might pass.
Yeah, but I like Owen Wilson. He is funny.
Yeah, he's funny. So if he could make me like watching a golf comedy, because otherwise I really don't care about golf. And if he's the reason to watch it, fine, I'll watch it if it's that good. I mean, I don't watch a lot of football, but I also don't dislike football the way I dislike golf. So I love Ted Lasso, right? So maybe he can, get me to like golf. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I just don't know.
Alexander Skarsgård, going back to AS.
Yes.
I mean, he's not like my like number one, but like he's kind of up there. I like
He's
him.
up there.
On Succession, I was like, all right, this guy's great. Even though he played like a terrible person. I was just like, yeah, would. But this idea that he plays a robot is just like, I mean, it's called Murderbot.
Yes.
I mean, you are just inject it in my veins. I'm into it.
Well, and Apple does really well with the sci-fi stuff, right? I mean, it's a genre that they've done, kind of decently with Silo. And you were, intrigued with Dark Matter. And then there was also Foundation. So they have a good track record for sci-fi. So potentially that could be a really good one, for early summer, really, because it's May 16th is when that show drops. But I love me some Alexander Skarsgård. He was fantastic as when I first saw him as a vampire for True Blood. And ever since, I'm like, oh, I'm going to follow this guy.
Where he first got his, like,
that was his break.
His chops?
Yeah.
Type thing.
That's where he got his big break, and then when he was on Big Little Lies is when he started to get more critical acclaim,
right?
Because he won the Emmy and all of that.
Another villain. Gosh, Alexander, why do you do this?
He wasn't quite a villain in True Blood. I mean, vampires can be considered villains because they, kill.
Because they kill people.
Eat them, whatever. Yeah. But as a vampire in this world, he wasn't exactly the bad guy. He was not morally the best, but he wasn't always the worst, is what I would say. It's one of those like anti-hero thing where you're like, I know he's bad, but I kind of like him, and not just because he's hot. Sure. Like his character isn't all that bad.
I mean, I don't know. Since we talked about vampires, Interview with the Vampire, great book, by the way, but also the movie. So you got Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst. I mean, great movie. And I remember just being like, poor Brad. He just doesn't want to be a vampire, but he is.
He did
one.
not. Yeah.
It's funny how like. It just, if something is portrayed a certain way, you feel sympathy for that character.
Yeah, 100%. Like some of the most, the best villains are the ones that actually have more depth to them. They're not just one dimensional where you're like, oh yeah, this person's bad.
You're like,
I don't,
oh, you're evil.
Just get rid of them.
But like if there's a reason that they're evil or or acting evil-ish type thing. It's like, that actually, I think a lot of us can relate to that stuff. Like, not that we all want to be evil people, but it's like, okay, there's some sort of humanity part of this.
Yeah. I was just watching last night. I don't know if you watched the show, but Daredevil is back on a different network, but you could watch it on your Apple TV, which is what I did. And the villain there, Vincent D'Onofrio's character, is Wilson Fisk, and I have always loved that character because he's a bad guy, but he has some qualities that you go, oh wait. You mean he actually loves his wife? He's not entirely horrible, even though he is horrible. And he's back in this new version of the show Daredevil. And I could see him being that person. Because right now in the show, he is the mayor of New York. And everybody's like, wait, this is the guy that killed people back in the day. But he is now recovered, quote unquote, maybe. And so that's why I like a character like this, because you're like, wait, no, he's bad, but it's like he either wants to appear good or he has a little bit, and he's having issues with his wife, so maybe this might not be good, a version of him, because his beloved wife is like, oh yeah, you I don't know about you anymore. So there's characters like that I just love. So I think, Alexander Skarsgård has a lot of a depth in his acting, so you could think he's this really, good guy, but yet he's really bad, right? So I think,
Sure.
I think Murderbot is one of the like anticipated shows because it's a beloved book, or I guess there's a series of books, right? Because Zoe Brings Bacon in our chat says, I have read one of the Murderbot books, really liked it. So there's more than one, apparently. Sorry, I'm not very familiar with it, but maybe
I'm not
be.
at all. But I like the idea, like Murderbot. Yeah, like that's that seems like a series I'd be into.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of it's funny, talking about these actors and on the roster for Apple, some really really obviously like top actors, and I'm sure the Apple TV Plus folks are very thrilled about that. But yeah, the idea of like being like good guy, bad guy, or something in between, or again, the female version of that. That there are so many examples of that.
Yeah.
I was actually, Eileen, I mean, I don't want to go too off course here, but I watched The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
The original Wizard of Oz movie the
original.
other day.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe because like Wicked, was like been in my mind, and so I was like, yeah, what about the original movie? That is such a good movie.
Oh yeah,
it's such a good movie. I mean, it's obviously very old, but it really holds up as like a cool movie, and there are so many, I don't know, little sort of like, here's what you learn from this situation type thing. Follow the yellow brick road, like all of that. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to relive or rewatch a movie, I don't remember the last time I saw Wizard of Oz, but I'm sure a lot more people are watching it these days because of Wicked.
Of Wicked. Yeah.
And so, I do remember it being, really good once I finally saw it. And I've seen it more than once.
It's also, I've seen it,
a billion times,
300 times for sure. My, sorry, Dad, but I'm going to call you out on this one. My dad, back in the days of video stores, he rented like a VHS machine. And actually, it would have been a Betamax machine because we were a Betamax family. But and we copied it, and then we had it, And I watched The Wizard of Oz every day for like 3 years. Not even kidding. Yeah.
Wow.
But I will say, like, that movie is weird. Like when you watch it, I haven't watched it in quite some time, but when you watch it, you're like, oh, that's cute. And, they're singing and everything. But you're like, that's also really weird. And, sometimes I'm just reminded that like sometimes kids sit and watch movies and they're like, oh, okay. Huh. Yeah. That's, the witch is like trying to kill.
Yeah.
Just sort of stuff that like is not really kid friendly, but we all just did that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny the way you think it's a little bit more pure when you're a kid, right? You're like, as you're learning about life, and then you're thinking about, wait, shouldn't this be bad? Why is this happening? And when you're exposed to it at such a young age, it'll either shape you or just cause you to be more curious, right? And then, there's I mean, it's even like music, when you start hearing words that you shouldn't be using at such a young age, like, ooh, should I be listening to this? Or everybody's listening to it, and saying the lyrics, and yeah.
I mean, I to this day, sometimes I'm like, I like this song, but it's a little adult for me.
A little adult. Yeah. So wait, Deprogrammer 9 says, wait, do they really do his I don't remember all the details. And I think he's talking about the Wizard of Oz. Do they do opium in the movie? Is this right?
Well, so
I haven't seen it in forever.
okay, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about spoilers because this movie came out in what,
been out.
1945?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Like,
it's the Wicked Witch of the West. Put them to sleep with poppies.
Oh, there, and that's what he says here. Yes, they kind of fall asleep after the poppies. Okay, I see.
So
see.
I mean, they weren't like smoking, like black tar type
Yeah.
thing. But yes, poppies were involved, and everyone who was a human fell asleep,
Okay.
which I guess
Yeah.
might do the trick.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Again, weird movie.
right? Weird movie and things that you'd think about as an adult and go, wait a minute.
Yeah, like
Th-
what?
th-
What are
those
we
adults
doing?
that made that as
Yeah.
a Easter egg, quote unquote, you can like refer to it any way you want, poppies or something else.
Right, yeah.
It was there. It was there when you were a kid.
Well, we have been here since we were kids. Episode 52. I mean, hey, we're if in dog years, Eileen, I guess we're like what, 7? Something like
Yes,
that.
yes, something like
Something like
yes.
that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. 7 times 7. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everybody for being with us. And we're halfway to 100, and that is super fun. Thank you so much. Spread the word. If you like the show, tell a friend. Let them know that you like the show and bring them on over here. And again, if you have feedback for us, we would love to hear it. feedback@applevisionshow.com. All right, Arlene.
Yep.
I think I was trying to make some sort of Wizard of Oz way to and well, no, I have it.
Oh, you do.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I'm ready.
Click your heels 3 times. 1, 2, 3,
2, 3.
and say, "There's no place like home."
There's no place like home.
That's right. There's no place like home. Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
That's just funny.
Thank you, everybody. There's no place like home.
There really
yeah.
isn't. Yeah.
I mean, that could be our title. I was messing around with the idea of like, $3,500, with the Metallica thing. I had something earlier and I didn't write it down because we were talking, but title wise, yeah, maybe There's No Place Like Home is probably better than the $3,500. Oh, I was more of like, yeah, lifetime ticket, $3,500, like a $3,500 concert ticket or something like that is where I was going with. But maybe we'll just do There's No Place Like Home instead for the title.
I don't know. I need to get out of the Wizard of Oz cinematic universe. I'm like,
well, you're gonna watch the.
oh,
Wiz
Eileen,
next?
you're like, do you know that? I'm like, oh yeah, I do.
I did not. It's been so long. I'm like, oh, I don't remember the details. So thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah.
Amos, do any of your kids feel fondly about the Wizard of Oz?
I don't think so. I have one that is absolutely obsessed with Coraline.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like that's her comfort
Well, yeah,
movie. She probably watches it twice a week.
Younger.
Yeah, she probably, literally, she probably watches that movie twice a week. But no, I think the only person in my life that is really, really, I don't want to say obsessed, but like a big fan of The Wizard of Oz is my mom.
Oh.
Which obviously makes it so you know that I'm not a big fan of the movie.
Well, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
obviously,
either.
But
The presumption can be
okay.
made. Yeah.
Yeah, that there's some context.
Let's just say there wasn't a lot of the TV watching that I had as a child was a lot of the same program on repeat. So Shirley Temple, Elvis, Wizard of Oz. They've never played in my adult house that I know of. Yeah.
Well, you know.
Meanwhile, Munsters, The Addams Family, those are great. Never got to watch those.
Wait, you never
Love
watched
them.
them as a kid? Oh, but you
When I did, I got to watch them, and then like my mom would come in and it'd be TV time for her. So here comes an Elvis tape or something like that. So
Yeah.
the Goonies and Lion King have been worn out in my adult life, though. Two of my favorite movies of all time.
Two great movies. I mean, Goonies.
Lion King is actually going through its 30th anniversary this year, and they released plushes, like Squishmallow plushes for them, and I picked up Nala and Simba because I had to.
Aww, that's so cute.
Yeah. They also have Timon and Pumbaa and Scar, but I didn't get those.
Scar. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen The Lion King speaking of times we've seen movies, I mean, I've probably seen it a couple times. I mean, but like, tears.
Yeah.
I've easily
it's
seen The
tough.
Lion King more than 200 times. All the way through.
See, I would say that about The Little Mermaid because I was babysitting during that time. So it was like every Friday night, parents are out. Kids like, I want to watch The Little Mermaid. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did we watch that movie?
Yeah. You end up with quotes from movies, stuff like that kind of stick with you. And two of mine have always been, well, one has always been, life's not fair, is it? You see, I will never be king. And you shall never see the light of another day. Adieu.
Wow.
Those are the
cute.
first spoken lines of Lion King. Yeah, I wish I had Jeremy Irons' voice, but yeah. And then Zazu comes in. Didn't your mother ever tell you it's not polite to play with your food? Anyway, now my latest one is, you are the worst, bah.
You are the worst.
Because Hamilton just lives rent free in my head 24/7.
Oh, see, I feel bad seeing this, but I never watched it.
Oh.
I know.
I think,
and my mother,
honestly,
my mother is like, Hamilton is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. She's like we share a Plex account, and like sometimes I'm like, Mom, did you watch Hamilton 3 times on
again?
Sunday?
Well, here's the thing about Hamilton. I really feel like if you were to experience Hamilton, you should see it in the theater first before watching the special on Disney
Right.
Plus, because it's like you'll appreciate it more, because the one on Disney Plus is the original cast. You're not going to get that anymore. You're not going to get the original cast anymore. But I didn't see the original cast, and I thought they were phenomenal. I was like, who are these people? I love them. They're really great. And it's because it's the characters. It's not
Right.
It's not just it doesn't have to be Lin-Manuel Miranda. It doesn't have to be.
Right.
So the characters themselves are amazing, and the songs are so good. I mean, the fact that they're like hip hop and rap for going back in the day, like it's just it's unbelievably good.
I know people love it. I know. I don't know what my problem is. I'm just every time I start it, I'm like, oh, this seems like something I really need to pay attention to, and I'll
No. It's one of
just
those
come back to it
things.
later.
It's one of those things. You
Here's
have to
the
be
thing,
in it.
Sarah. Just play it in the like next time you're in a long drive. Next time you got a 2.5 hour drive, play it because that's how long it is. It's about 2.5 hours. Just play it and just see if anything resonates with you. And then the next time you hear anything from any part of it, it's gonna blow you away. And you'll be like, "Oh, I gotta listen to this right now."
Okay.
Yeah, but I think you
All
still
right.
have to see it in action. Like, I don't think I would have appreciated the soundtrack if I hadn't watched it first. And I did know like one song or two songs.
I did
before
everything
saw.
backwards. I saw YouTube
Oh, okay.
breakdowns of it before I saw the videos of it, the animated videos, and then I saw the real videos, and then I listened to the album, and then I watched the Disney thing when it came out, and then I saw it in theaters several years later, or in in the stage production
I
several years later. So I did
kind of-
everything backwards.
I kind of stayed away. Like I was like I had knowledge, but not a lot of knowledge. And then when I saw it, then I dug deep. And even to like watching cast videos, the original cast videos coming out of the theater in New York and playing in front of crowds, like the songs, because people wanted to hear them again. You know, I was like, oh, I want to watch that. You know, and it was like a whole pack of people in New York just like waiting in the backstage doors, and one of the actors will come out and they'll just start singing, you know, the song that you just heard on stage, or maybe you weren't even at the show, you just saw it before and you wanted to go and, you know, stalk some of the the actors just to hear the songs live again.
They used to do Ham for Ham.
Yes.
So
that's what,
yeah. So the Hamilton would be, you know, Hamilton's on like with the $10 bill or whatever, the 20. Yep. The cast would go out to the backstage and start singing, and if you could go up there and sing and keep up with the band, they would let you buy a ticket to the show for a Hamilton for $1 bill.
Yeah.
And which was a huge discount for the original cast.
Yeah. Well, that won't happen anymore, but you know, it is good that the original cast is like in a movie that you could watch them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good enough that they were here in Alaska early last year, I think it was. They played, I think, a total of like 32 shows over 3 weeks, and every show sold out every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people were going like multiple times.
And I think you have to be in the mood, Sarah. So don't. We all have that one thing, right? They're like, oh yeah, I never did that. I just never did.
For me, it's Marvel.
You know. Whoa.
Yeah.
You don't.
That's
Amos,
surprising.
You and I have something in
Wow.
common.
Okay, so you had no idea about. You had no idea about
No,
Daredevil.
there's certain Marvel things that I'm like, oh, you know, I what's the one
Like
with
Deadpool? Love Deadpool.
Deadpool was good. What was the one with where she was playing it like a housewife?
Oh, you mean the witch, Scarlet Witch?
But it was the one where what is wrong with me?
It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. I know.
That's what's
that's
wrong.
when my brain goes to mush. It was blah, 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 all along. Come on, you guys know.
It wasn't Scarlet
Bewitched.
Witch. She was.
No,
she was
not
yeah,
Bewitched. No.
Scarlet
WandaVision.
Witch. WandaVision, yeah.
WandaVision.
You're talking about
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch. That's why. Sorry, I forgot the
Oh.
name of the actual show.
That's what happens, Eileen. You went too Marvel for us.
Yeah.
You said
sorry.
Scarlet Witch. You were like, we didn't. I don't know the
I'm
connection.
like, I don't know anything about Scarlet Witch.
That's
How
her
you talking
name.
about?
That's the character. But yes, WandaVision. Sure,
Agatha.
sure, WandaVision.
Agatha. I love Agatha.
Oh, Agatha's a
She's so
totally different
fun.
one.
See,
She's in
all right.
WandaVision. No, wait. And you're right. Agatha is WandaVision, but Agatha also has her own show, which I actually have not seen. So
Which
I'm not,
I
there was-
started and I liked, and I don't know why I didn't finish it. It's kind of a good reminder to
I have
you know,
I have a
get
certain
back to that.
aversion. Anytime like enough people tell me I need to watch something, it detracts from my desire
Same.
to watch something.
Same.
So I just haven't watched most of the Marvel movies because people were so hyped up about it and wouldn't stop talking about it. And I just got tired of hearing about it, so now I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry you're missing out, but it's okay. You don't need to have it in your life. There's other things to have in your life. You know, I didn't. This was back in the day, obviously, because I've watched them all. But I did not watch Iron Man in the theaters. I watched it in a hotel, and like a year later, after it was out, and I was like, oh my god, this is really. Why did I not think this was good? And then I got into it. So I didn't actually. I mean, I did get into it pretty early, if you're considering the fact that I just didn't watch Iron Man 1 in the theater. But it was just one of those things where I was just like, oh. I took time to watch it and go, oh, okay. Yeah, I like this. This is good. But I also, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is like, he's just so good.
I
don't like Robert
also
Downey
did
Jr.
not watch it in the theater. I watched the second one, and this actually harkens back to a DTNS conversation.
Oh,
we
you
had
watched the
earlier
second
today.
Iron movie? Okay,
Yeah, like I watched the first.
That was the
one
worst of the three.
because the second one was coming out,
2 was the worst of the 3.
And
Okay. Yeah.
I like tweeted something like, "This is kind of a stupid movie," and people were like, "You should die, sir."
2
How
is
could you
definitely
ever
the
not
worst.
like this movie? And I'm like, it's just kind of stupid.
2
Let's be
was not
honest.
good. 2 was not good. I actually don't like that. I skipped that one. I'll go 1 and 3. You know.
So I don't like Iron Man might be cool, but I just didn't quite get into him. And then the fact that I don't like Robert Downey Jr.
Okay,
really
that's fair.
kinda,
Yeah, if you don't like
you
an
know,
actor, then you
You
can't
know,
watch it. You know?
I'm okay
Yeah.
with him, but I don't like him the way some people do. Like it's that sort of like Aaron Sorkin cadence where I'm just like, it gets old quick.
It makes it worse because he's like number 1 on my wife's hall pass list. So
Really?
like, I already didn't like him. Then my wife's got like this celebrity crush.
Well,
on him.
I just like
And it's just
there's,
like-
honestly.
yeah, there's some
now I
context there.
twice don't like him, you know, and
He-
the only role I've ever seen him in that I thought he did good, that I like really enjoyed his acting method in, was Sherlock.
Oh, he was so good in that. Yeah.
It was amazing. Both
Yeah.
movies, 1
Yeah,
and 2,
it
they
was
were
really good.
amazing. It was like the
Yeah.
role designed for him. But it's the only thing
Mm-hmm.
I've ever seen him in that I was like, wow, he actually did good at that.
All right, my friends, I want to talk to you about this for all eternity.
I know.
But
I gotta go too.
while the sun is out, I'm going to take out the pup.
All right.
Sounds
let's say goodbye to our friends online.
Bye,
and, we'll listen to you.
guys.
Bye, online friends. See you next week.
See you next time.